Good morning to all of you. Let's start the class with the prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Bhur Swaha Tatsavitravarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Asto Ma Satgamya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya Mrityorma Amritam Gamya. Om Sehna Bhavatu Sehna Bhunaktu Seviryam Karvavahi Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti 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 Om. So this is the last lecture on Bhaj Govindam. Last week we ended the class with verse number 28. Where Adi Shankaracharya is saying that very readily one indulges in carnal pleasures. Later on, alas, come diseases of the body. Even though in the world the ultimate end is death, even then man leaves not his sinful behavior. So that means we don't learn. We don't learn. So he's waking us up with these beautiful verses. But again, it's up to us to follow the teachings, to bring it into our behavior in our life by practicing all this. So let's look at it, what he says in verse number 29. So just only 3 verses left. So we'll finish it today. ArthamanarthaM bhavam nityaM naastitataH sukhaleshaH satyam putraadapi dhana bhaajaaM bhiitiH sarvatraishhaa vihiaa riitiH. Arth means wealth. Anartha, calamity or calamitous. Bhavam, reflect. Nityam, constantly. Na asti, there is not. Tataha, from it. SukhaleshaH, even a little bit of happiness. Satyam, truth. Putraadapi, even from his own son, putra. Dhana bhaajaaM, to the rich. bhiitiH, there is fear. Sarvatra, everywhere. Esha, this. Vihiaa, is. That means like ordained. riitiH, the way. Wealth is calamitous. Thus reflect constantly. The truth is that there is no happiness at all to be got from it. So that means there's no happiness in the wealth. To the rich, there is a fear even from his own son. This is the way with wealth everywhere. So whatever he expressed in the previous verses, especially the enchantments we have for the lower nature, it is so powerful in us. No matter how much philosophy we study, still not much effect on us, because the power of Maya is such. So he's bringing these facts in front of us. He is saying the things where they are, and he is urging us to improve our life. Because he says that Maya, wealth, it will definitely pull us down. And we'll have a sorrow. Even though there's a temple of joy right inside us, but we stay sorrowful. Why? because we don't look within. We are constantly looking for the happiness from that where there is no happiness. So this Maya is so fascinating. We want to procure it, or we have all the promises to ourselves also to procure it, but we know it will never give us ultimate happiness. It is really strange that money was discovered and made by human beings, but still, as a human being, we have become slave to the very thing which we created. Today, money rules us all. We even determine the level of success according to the level of the money which we have. So over here, this great teacher, he's advising us to the people who are the seeker of the higher life to reflect constantly that wealth is calamitous. Repeatedly, he says, remember this. There is a danger of wasting your entire life just for the money, for the fascination for the wealth, or just a delusory enchantment for money. He says, think about it. Money, no doubt, money has a value, but it is only as much as it can procure things for us. Money is just the means, not the end. But when we give over-exaggerated importance to money, we become thoughtless. And that's how it breeds lovelessness in our life, or even hatred also. Or sometimes we see the subhuman impulses in the money-mad personality. That's why he is mentioning over here that it's strange that wealth estranges us all. It's all very strange, the money psychology. When you have not any, you will pant to get some. But when you get some, you grow jealous of others who have more. And you feel conceited among those who have less. So it just colors our vision constantly. We want to grab, and in this grabbing game, in this profit hunting commerce of the world, you become a little bit successful. Your jealousy and conceit, in fact, become even more. Your jealousy becomes powerful. Your conceit becomes limitless. That is the effect of money. So not only more wealth brings more jealousiness and conceit, but the individual become very unholy also, suspicious also. So that's how all those lower urges start to come in. That's why he used the term over here, putra also. Putra. So wealth is not welfare. Even one's own son becomes a source of fear for the unholy man of riches. That's why keep in one corner of your mind the idea that money or wealth is only a means. Okay? It's not an end itself. And wealth is calamitous. So let not money use you. We often talk about it. It should serve you, not you serve money. Because when you possess money, wealth is a blessing actually. But if you allow money to possess you, wealth is a curse. So the same thing becomes curse, and it will give you not even a suspicion of comfort. SukhaleshaH. You will not have it. This is the truth about wealth, and this is the way of wealth. Okay? So remember that he's not saying that don't have money, but money is not the goal. Just a means. Now next verse he says, praaNaayaamaM, pratyaahaaraM, nityaanitya, vivekavichaaram, jaapyasameta samaadhividhaanam, kurvavadhaanaM, mahadavadhaanam. Pranayama. We are all familiar with this term, yoga students. It's a control of all life manifestation. PratyaahaaraM, the sense withdrawal from their respective sense objects. Nityaanitya vivekavichaaram. Vichar is the reflection, inquiry. Inquiry about what? Discrimination between the permanent and the impermanent, nitya and anitya. What is eternal and what is non-eternal? What is temporary? What is permanent? So inquire about it. Jaapyasameta samaadhividhaanam, along with the jap. Japya means jap karna. And the practice of reaching the total inner silence, which is samadhi. Jaapyasameta samaadhividhaanam. So this is the practice. Kuru means perform. Avadhanam, with care. Okay. Mahadavadhaanam, with great care. The control of all activities of life's manifestation in you, the pran in you, the sense withdrawal, the reflection consisting of discrimination between the permanent and the impermanent, along with the jap and the practice of reaching the total inner silence, samadhi. These perform with care, with great care. So over here in this verse, Shankaracharya ji is advising a seeker who has withdrawn his mind from all its hunting after wealth in the outer world of the mind and matter. So he says, don't run after the Maya, then what should you do? So the seeker should learn to control. First, learn to control this energy inside. And we are all familiar with this pran inside us, the functioning of the pran at a different part of our body. But a couple of verses before, he talked about some sadhana, study of the Gita, worship of the Lord, satsang, charity. Then he talked about elimination of all the wealth hunting distractions by the process of correct thinking. So all of this was bahiranga sadhana. So that means that is a outer exercises. So outer exercises are needed, but then you don't stop it there. We got to move towards the inner sadhana also. So in this particular verse, he's talking about the antaranga sadhana. Okay, so staying away from the wealth, not making money holding as your ultimate goal, that is outside. So now look at the inner exercise, the antaranga sadhana. So control of all life activities in the body, pranayam, pratyaahaaraM, nityaanitya vivekavichaaram, jap and samadhi. We all know the 5 distinct names in the yogic literature for this functioning of the prana. There's a pran, apan, saman, vyan, and udan. If you remember that from those lectures. So this is what he's talking about. Because when we bring our mind into our prana, we are starting our inner journey. So the perception and the recognition of things in the subjective life, pran. When we reject the things, excretion happens because of apan. Our digestive system, the pran which is needed for that is called saman. The circulatory system, that is vyan. And capacity to lift ourselves from our present state of understanding to a nobler and better peak of thought, like a higher knowledge, that's called udan. So this is what he's talking about when he says pranayam. Because sure, we do pranayam to maintain this body in a healthy fashion. But over here, when he's talking about pranayam, he's talking about the inner journey now. So to control all these 5 expressions of life in a living being is called pranayam also. So true pranayam can really be achieved only through sustained and sincere practice. For sufficiently long time, devotion to the Lord, study of the scriptures, selfless study, service to the society. So all of it, you will see that the day you have done seva, your pranayam becomes better. And if you do pranayam, you'll be able to connect at a deeper level with others also. So pranayam helps quite a bit. But we must learn to roll our mind back to ourself also. Through the senses, the mind go outwardly. So sense organs, they run towards the sense world. So the capacity to whistle back the wandering mind away from sense objects towards our own heart and mind is called pratyaahaaraM. So the eyes which just love to see outside, the ears, they just love to hear what others are saying, rolling them back inward towards the heart and mind is called pratyaahaaraM. That's why the turtle is a symbol for a yogi. How a turtle, whenever sees a danger, it could be when you throw a little pebble close to him, it just withdraws all the limbs inside. Okay, so that's how a yogi is, senses inward. Neither pranayam nor pratyaahaar is possible unless the intellect is re-educated to hold enduring and healthy values of life. That's why the third practice, inner practice, he said, discriminative intellect. That kind of an intellect which can readily make us see what is permanent and what is impermanent. Because we decide based upon the kind of an intellect we have. Because this glittering maya outside, no matter how glittering it is temporary, it's impermanent. So it can happen only through constant scientific, reflective thinking. So he says, you got to do that also. Sure, Gita we study outside, but this reflection is happening internally. So that's why this part is inner sadhana. So in order to develop the required subtlety of intellect, discover this necessary amount of balance, the intellect must go under vichar, training. And this is available to us when we do the jap also. That's why jap is part of this inner sadhana. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse number 15, Lord Krishna says, Agyanenam avritam jnanam ten muhanti jantua. The real is veiled by the unreal. And so the creatures suffer from delusion. So the real in us, the Atma in us is veiled. It's covered with this agyan, with this maya. And that's how outside also. So he says, with the help of this discrimination and with the help of the jap, you can pierce through it. Because when such a discriminating person could withdraw his mind at will without difficulty, see, initially it might take some effort, but eventually with the help of the practice, you'll be able to pierce through it without any difficulty. Because you have controlled all your sense organs. You are in a perfect, harmonious condition. So when the seeker has the layers of his personality tuned himself with the highest, then mind and intellect will not ever get disturbed, ever. And for this we need sadhana. And then eventually what will happen? There will be a complete silence within. There could be noises outside, but if there is a complete hush inside, silence within, that is called samadhi. Samadhi. Okay? This is a stage which we are moving towards. This state of final beatitude is expressed in our scriptures again and again, this samadhi. The last stage of the human effort, practice of samadhi. So you practice it, but when you attain that, there's no effort, that's effortlessly. So this final experience is not gained by anybody. Actually, it is already inside us. All we do is discover it. That's why it said that you cannot make any effort to reach samadhi. Effort is only made to practice. All the practice we are doing just to reach there. And then what do we see? Tattvaamasi. It's already there. Okay? So these various disciplines which he's talking about at the mental, intellectual, and physical levels are to be undertaken by us seekers. So whether we talked about in the previous verses the Bahiranga sadhana, or now in this verse he talked about the Antaranga sadhana. Okay? We cannot just jump towards the samadhi right away. We got to make sure that foundation is built properly. Okay, so make sure that we know what we are doing. Are we spending enough time for our sadhana or not? Do we understand what the goal of our sadhana is? We cannot force our mind. There's no question of crushing the instincts. We are not suppressing it. We are just trying to understand who we are with the proper means. Because force will definitely create suppression, deformities. So these rishis, they are very high level or super scientists of the mind. So they have gone through all this for us and written it in a way where we can easily follow all this. So, and when he said towards the end of this verse, kurvavadhaanaM, mahadavadhaanam, that means he is telling us that nature outside, whatever we see outside, whether it's a sun rising or the moon setting or the blossoming of the buds or the arrival of the fruits or the germination of the seeds or the fetus in the womb, bird in the egg, Hari cannot make it happen faster. They all take their time. They will grow and emerge out. So as a seeker, if we try to hurry up, double up our march to reach the goal, they say haste is waste on the path of the truth. Okay, do not become impatient. Our job is to just keep on doing the sadhana. At the proper time, this agyan will finish. This avarn will be lifted up, and that gyan is already there. So in a way, he is warning us beautifully. Very lovingly, actually, he is advising us. Avadhanam, mahadavadhaanam. So he says, please perform with care, with great care. A performance of all of this, what he's telling us. Okay, step by step, he is telling us what to do and what not to do also. In the last verse, he told us, do not make money your goal. It is a calamity is there. Okay, and what to do. Now let's look at the last verse. Guru charan ambuj nirbhar bhagtah sansarat achirat bhav muktah sa indriye manas niyamat evam drakshasi nij hridasthyam devam. Guru charan ambuj nirbhara bhakta, great devotee of the lotus feet of the Guru. Ambuj is lotus. So great devotee of the lotus feet of the Guru. Sansarat, from the sansar. Achirat, soon. Bhavamuktaha, becomes liberated. Say indriye manas niyamat, through the discipline of the sense organs and the mind. Evam, in this manner, drakshyasi, you will experience nature hridayastham, that dwells in one's own heart. Devam, the Lord. O devotee of the lotus feet of the Guru, may you become liberated soon from the sansar through the discipline of the sense organs and the mind. You will come to experience the Lord that dwells in your own heart. So basically what he's talking about over here, faith and devotion to the Guru, they are necessary in order to walk on this path properly. Because there are a lot of slopes on this pilgrimage. So we need the faith and the devotion. And we all know faith is a very powerful secret source of the energy in our own heart. One of the greatest definition of the faith has been given to us by Saint Augustine, when he said, faith is to believe what you do not see, and the reward of this faith is to see what you believe. Okay? Pretty deep message in there. Faith is to believe what you do not see. Okay, you don't see it, but you have a faith that you will. And the reward of this faith is to see what you believe. So right in front of us then. So that's what this teacher is saying to us, that you cannot immediately apprehend the logic of all these discourses, but he is helping us intellectually to comprehend this. And once we have embraced this idea, once we have comprehended intellectually, then what happens with the practice? Practice with full of faith, because that is a secret power, faith. So in our own mind, so we are bringing intellect and the mind and the physical sadhana also together, and then we'll experience. We will see this, what he is talking about. So may you become liberated from sansar, he says, soon in the burden of the, this is like almost like a good wishes or a blessing he's giving it to us, that you keep on walking on this path, and may you come to experience this also. Because liberation is not somewhere distant. And this seeing, he is saying that God is right here or inside you, it's not only for only few people, anybody, all of us. That is our goal. So through discipline of the sense organs and the mind. See, if our sense organs are not in our control, mind is not going to be in control. If we just let our sense organs do whatever they want to do, any kind of a turbulence, mind will be turbulent. Okay. So he says, may you come to experience the Lord that dwells in your own heart. So right here, it's not far away, it's so close to you. So Shankaracharya ji, with this verse, also prostrating to his own Guru. That's what we see too. Great Acharya, but he is also prostrating to his Guru. It's not just a coincidence that his own teacher's name was Govindam Acharya. Okay, so it's not a coincidence. Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. Govind Acharya was the name. In Mundak Upanishad, same kind of a discipline mentioned. And over there, the qualities of a true teacher is also given. And then in Chandogya Upanishad also, so no matter which great book we look at, the similar kind of a message is given. Faith is needed, devotion is needed, control over the senses is needed, control of the mind is, intellectually we need to heighten ourselves, and then sadhana we must do. So in Chandogya Upanishad, the Rishi blasted out actually. He says, Acharya Vana Purusho Vedaha. Chandogya Upanishad. With the prostrations to the teacher, the essential manual, all these manuals, which can be called manuals, whether this Bhaj Govindam or the Upanishads, they just blast it out. That have faith, faith in your Guru, faith in God, but at the same time, do practice. So one who has a teacher alone comes to realize. So even a Shankaracharya ji is talking about his teacher. Okay, so even though this Bhaj Govindam is considered among the minor works of Shankaracharya ji, okay, it gets chanted all over India. Some people just part by part, or some people the whole, all 31 verses they chant. But we saw that how poetic it is, how beautiful it is, how it just really brings our mind to what we need to do, what we are supposed to stay away from, and what kind of a faith we are supposed to have, and ultimately what our goal is. All of this is mentioned in these 31 verses. Everything. It's a small, but it's almost like a pill which has everything in it. A lot of people, they have memorized these verses also. So if you remember 31 verses, first verse, like an introduction, then verse 2 to 13, they are attributed to Adi Shankaracharya. Then the following 14 verses attributed to his disciples. And then last part is again, so 28, 29, 30, 31, 4 verses, again by Adi Shankaracharya. So that's how this authorship goes. So the last 4 verses, they conclude beautifully the whole message for us. And not only that, he is giving us blessings also. See, these great acharyas or gods or the gurus, blessings are always with us. They're always with us. It's not that they bless some and they don't bless others. They always bless us. But for us to feel the blessings, we have to do our part. So it's like a sun is shining. We need to open our curtains or the windows, or come out of the basement or out of a cave. We need to come out. Sun is shining. The same way, these gurus and gods' blessings are always there with us. So in order to feel it, we have to prepare ourselves. And then we saw that internal sadhana, external sadhana. We have to see, where do we stand personally? Am I up to receiving this grace? Today, did I do jap? Did I study swadhyay? Am I doing the jap? Jap can be done all the time. Nobody needs to know that we are doing the jap. Shwas mein japo. Right? That's why on this path, even the physical mala, rosary, it's given up after a while. Initially, sure, when a little child is learning how to walk, they need a walker, but then we just let go of the walker. The same way for a seeker, that rosary is a walker. Kar ki mala chhod kar, man ki mala japa. So when we are doing the man ki mala, nobody even knows we are doing that job. That job should be there. A job with a bhavna, not just with our mouth. Okay, so this is what he's telling us, and thank you for listening to this, paying attention to it, and we'll talk about some questions, but let's do the Shanti part, and then Poonam will recite these mantras for us. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much, Poonam. Now your turn. Rita, she cannot unmute herself. Oh, no. Yeah, Rita, can you check?
Namaste, Hersh.
Namaste, Poonam. Yeah, here you go. Good, thank you.
Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam Bhaj Mudhamate, arthamanartham bhaavaya nityaM arthamanarthaM bhavaya nityaM naastitataH sukhaleshaH satyam naastitataH sukhaleshaH satyam putraadapi dhana bhaajaaM bhiitiH putraadapi dhana bhaajaaM bhiitiH sarvatraishhaa vihiaa riitiH sarvatraishhaa vihiaa riitiH bhaj govindam bhaj govindam bhaj govindam bhaj govindam govindam bhaj moodhamate praaNaayaamaM pratyaahaaraM praaNaayaamaM pratyaahaaraM nityaanitya vivekavichaaram nityaanitya vivekavichaaram jaapyasameta samaadhividhaanam jaapyasameta samaadhividhaanam kurvavadhaanaM mahadavadhaanam kurvavadhaanaM mahadavadhaanam bhaj govindam bhaj govindam bhaj govindam bhaj govindam govindam bhaj moodhamate guru charanamam bhoj nirbhar bhakta guru charanamam bhoj nirbhar bhakta sansarad chirad bhav muktah sansarad chirad bhav muktah senindriya manas niyamadevam senindriya manas niyamadevam drakshasi nij hridayastham devam drakshasi nij hridayastham devam bhaj govindam bhaj govindam bhaj govindam bhaj govindam govindam bhaj moodhamate नाम स्मरणद अन्याम उपायम नाम स्मरणद अन्यम उपायम नहीं पश्यामो भवभीत तरने नहीं पश्याम भवभीत तरने भज गोविंदम भज गोविंदम भज गोविंदम भज गोविंदम गोविंदम भज मूढ़मते। थैंक यू।